Welcome to the unemployment review video. Okay, so the worksheet is in the link in the description box, so please pull that up. You are welcome to pause the video now and work through the worksheet and then come back to the video, but also I'll be pausing during the video to give you some time to work on the questions. Please pause me if you need more time to work. Yeah, you should give yourself about 20 or 30 seconds for each question. Some of them are going to be quick, like you can come up with the answer immediately, and other ones are going to require some sitting down and calculating, so make sure you have something to write on. Okay, so the most benefit you'll get out of this video is from studying before and then just using this video to test yourself. These questions are pretty tough, but the quiz and test questions are going to be too, so this is going to be good practice. But if you haven't studied and you're not well prepared, this is not going to be as beneficial for you. So study and then come back to this and use this as a way to test yourself. So if you get them wrong, don't panic, but do take that as an indication that you need to study your notes more. All right, so here we go. What does the natural rate of unemployment include? Right, structural and frictional unemployment, right? Those are the normal kinds of unemployment, right? People leaving jobs they don't like or aren't good at, and jobs changing because of technological changes or changes in trade, but some skills are no longer needed, those jobs are not available, and other jobs are popping up and they need a different set of skills, but there's a skills mismatch. Okay, so those are both normal kinds of unemployment. Okay, who is in the labor force? Yeah, the employed workers and the unemployed workers are the labor force. Good. What does it mean to be unemployed? The person is not working for pay and is looking for paid work right within the last 4 weeks is our narrow definition. Okay, good. What does it mean to be employed? Yeah, the person has worked at least an hour for pay in the last week, right? Remember, it's a very broad definition, but just remember that worked at least an hour for pay in the last week. Okay, what does it mean to be out of labor force? Yeah, not doing paid work and not actively searching for paid work. Okay. If more people give up looking for jobs or take jobs that don't use their skills, what happens to the unemployment rate? Make up numbers for U and E if that helps. Okay, pause it if you need more time to think about this. This is an important one, so really take your time thinking about it. Okay, so how I think about it, so more people give up looking for jobs is more people being unemployed, okay? And then people taking jobs that don't use their skills means they count as employed, but they're not happy, they're underemployed, right? So what happens to the unemployment rate? So I'll go through both examples. So if more people are give up looking for work, okay, so I'm gonna make up a scenario, right? Make up numbers for U and E. So we remember that the unemployment rate calculation is U over U plus E times 100. Okay, so I'm going to make up numbers. So I'm going to say this town has 10 unemployed people. And so we have 10 in the numerator, 10 in the denominator, and 90 employed people. Okay, so we'll go with that. Okay, so 10 employed people, 10 unemployed people, 10 unemployed people, 90 employed people times 100 gives us our unemployment rate, which is 10%. Okay, so 10% unemployment rate. All right, and now let's say that those two of those people who were unemployed just decide to give up looking for jobs. So now they become discouraged workers. Okay, so do the same numbers again. So now there are only 8 unemployed people divided by 8 plus 90 times 100. Okay, so only 8 unemployed people because 2 stop searching for work, so they no longer count as unemployed. And then 8 unemployed again plus 90 workers times 100. Okay, So this number, we'll notice, is like 8 point something percent. So it's lower than the unemployment rate was before. Okay, but was that because people are happy and found jobs that they wanted? No. Okay, so the unemployment rate goes down though if there's more discouraged workers. Okay, and then for workers who take jobs that don't use the skills and they're underemployed, now they count as employed. So we would get the same thing, right? So if two workers chose to become to take a job that didn't use their skills, we'll still have now 8 unemployed, so 2 less than before. But it'll be 8 plus 92. So actually, this unemployment rate is going to get even lower, but again, not for good reasons, right? Not because people are really finding jobs that are suitable for that. So now this number's even lower. It's like wait, what is it? 8%, something like that. So this is even worse. Sorry, under 8%. Okay. Cool. All right. So then, next one. If many companies close, firing their workers who are now looking for new jobs, what happens to the labor force participation rate? Okay, so we remember the labor force participation rate is labor force over adult civilian population, right? So if these companies are firing workers and they're now looking for the new jobs, they go from employed to unemployed. Okay. But the trick is unemployed and employed are both still in the labor force. So your labor force over population does not change. Okay, so unemployed plus employed divided by U plus E plus ULF times 100, okay, is your labor force participation rate. Okay, right? So your number of employed compared to employeds change, right? So those employeds become unemployeds, but they're all still in the labor force, so it doesn't change the labor force. If more teenagers 16 and over start looking for part-time jobs, what will happen to the labor force participation rate? Okay, yeah, it'll go up, right? Because if they were out of labor force and now they're in the labor force, right? If they were just, over 16s who were not, or 16 and ups who were not working, but now they're looking for jobs, they're now unemployed, whereas they were just out of labor force before. So now they're counted in the labor force and weren't before, so higher labor force participation rate. Okay, should the unemployment rate be 0%? Like, would that be a good thing? Do we want? Yeah, that would be bad. Okay, because remember, having no cyclical unemployment is good. It means the economy's not booming or crashing. But remember, even when the economy's normal, healthy, and things are fine, there are going to be people leaving jobs they hate or being fired from jobs they're bad at. Right? That's our frictional unemployment. Or they're going to, and they're going to be people changing what they want to buy, which changes the demand for different products, which changes which sort of skills are wanted, right? And then, of course, companies change how they produce things all the time, which changes the skills of the workers they need, right? And we implement technological changes in production processes, and that changes the skills of the workers needed. So all of those things contribute to structural unemployment. So in order to have zero unemployment, you'd have to have a world where no one can leave jobs they hate or fire people who are bad for the jobs. And also, consumers can't change their preferences. Companies can't change how they produce anything. And that's not a world we want. So some unemployment, structural and frictional, is great. We love that. Okay, right. As long as they're like within a normal range and there's not some reason why things are going bad with structural or frictional unemployment. Okay, then what kind of unemployment is this? A person loses her job and she has a reasonable expectation that she will be able to find another job doing a similar thing. Yeah, that's just frictional unemployment, right? Unemployment due to the search time. That it just takes time for a worker to find a job that's suitable and for a company to find the worker who's a good fit for their company and the job that they're looking for. Okay, which kind of unemployment is usually permanent? And does that mean this person will never have a job again? Okay. Yeah. So frictional is just search time, so that's temporary. Cyclical is because of swings in the business cycle, so that's also temporary. But structural unemployment is typically permanent. It's okay, well, companies do things differently now and they just don't need your skills anymore, so find another position, right? So like get new training or something, right? So structural unemployment is typically permanent. And so but that doesn't mean the workers will never work again, usually. So if those workers become discouraged workers and they say, well, there's no job for me, I can't find anything doing what I've been doing before, they face a crossroads, right? They can either give up and say, okay, fine, I'll just be a discouraged worker, I'll just live off my spouse's salary, or I'll just, go into early retirement, right? So your older workers who are closer to retirement are more likely to become discouraged workers than younger workers who say, well, okay, I'm only, 35 or 40. I can't give up now, right? I do have to figure out how to get a new job. And so the workers who say, okay, well, I'll figure out how to get a new job, will have to get new training. So how easily they adapt their skills is going to determine how successfully they cope with this change. But structural unemployment is painful, so we got to help these people get new training, find new jobs, or relocate if that's what it means, and what's necessary for them to get a new job. Okay. What kind of unemployment is this? A person loses his job but does not expect that he will be able to find a job because lots of other people are also looking for new jobs. At the same time, companies are firing people. Yeah, this sounds a lot like a recession, right? Lots of people losing their jobs at the same time and companies cutting back workers. So this is cyclical unemployment, okay, so due to swings in the business cycle. Okay, so now the calculation. So please pause the video if you need more time to work on each of these. So you should go through, classify each group as employed, unemployed, or out of labor force, or not counted at all, right? And then write out your equation, write in all the numbers. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and we'll see how we go. So take your time, pause the video if you need. Okay, so okay, you might have noticed this is actually a lot easier problem than it seems like it would be, at least for the unemployment rate, because we're given the labor force participation rate, right? Or sorry, the labor force. So our unemployment rate is U divided by U plus E, but we remember that U plus E is the labor force, right? So we're given the labor force, right? The first one is 500 people in the labor force. So we just pop that puppy in, okay? And then, sorry, times 100. And then the unemployed we're also given as 30. So labor force already includes the unemployed, so we don't need to add them here. We're good to go. So that's the unemployment rate. So whatever that comes out to. And then the labor force participation rate. So labor force over population, right? Adult civilian population, okay, times 100. So we see that uh, there are 500 people in the labor force. So we put that on top. So 500 people in the workforce or labor force. Okay, and then we divide that by the labor force plus any of our out of labor forces. So we don't include like the kids or the military, right? So if we have any of those, we'll toss them out. But let's see, do we have any out of labor force? So we have under 16s, we don't count those. Retired, yeah, so we want to count those. So 50 retired, 40 discouraged workers, and 10 underemployed. So underemployeds count as employed, right? They're going to say, yes, I do work at least an hour for pay. Okay, so then that is 500. So 500 labor force divided by labor force plus the retireds plus the discouraged workers. Okay, so those are our OLFs times 100. Okay, good job, team. All right, then second calculation. So again, pause the video, take your time on the labor force participation rate for this town. Okay, write out the equation. Okay, cool. So we have the labor force over adult civilian population times 100. And we have 200 people who run their own businesses, so they would say, yes, I am working for pay. 30 artists who also would say, yes, I'm working for pay, even though their pay is not necessarily directly connected to the like hourly work that they are doing, but they are working for pay, right? Okay, with the expectation of pay. So then we also have 40 people who have a job but are looking for a better one because they're still employed. And then we have the 10 unemployeds. Okay. And then in the denominator, we need labor force plus ULFs, right? So we already have our labor force number. I just added up the top. And so that's our labor force again, plus the ULFs. So we have 100 stay-at-home parents and 50 retired people, okay, times 100. So that's the labor force participation rate. All right. Great job, crew. You got this. Bye.